responsible for it? Is it the Minister of the Treasury Board? Is it the Minister for Public Services and Procurement? Is it the Minister of Public Safety who contracted the CBSA to actually go out there and contract the ArriveCAN and waste $60 million on absolutely nothing? Or is it the Prime Minister himself?
The Honourable Member for Edmonton West in 20 seconds.
Thank you. All of the above.
Resuming debate, the Honourable Member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Madam Speaker, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost, the crime, or the corruption. Now, today we're talking about costly criminal corruption. So a 3-in-1 right at the heart of the government, that is the ArriveCAN scandal. And we find out today that the RCMP is investigating this costly criminal corruption. Now, people are familiar with the ArriveCAN scandal. I think we should be calling it the ArriveCAN scandals, plural. There are multiple different scandals, and every time at Public Accounts Committee, Government Operations Committee, we turn over a new leaf, a new stone. There is more to uncover, and it speaks to the rot, the crime, the corruption, the capricious disregard for public money that is the heart of this NDP Liberal government. And we heard today at committee from watchdogs, from the Auditor General's office, from the Procurement Ombudsman's office, that they are not surprised, not at all surprised, that the RCMP is investigating criminal behavior in the context of the ArriveCAN scandal. And we heard in question period today when ministers were asked about the RCMP investigation that's going on, ministers saying, "Oh, this is no big deal. You know, of course we're you know, the RCMP are looking into this." You know, we've gotten to a point in Canada after 8 years of this Prime Minister and this NDP Liberal government, we've gotten to a point where ministers will say unironically that the RCMP investigating the behavior of the government is not a big deal. And it's true, there have been many different RCMP investigations involving conduct by and within this government. But we should never normalize or accept or tolerate in Canada the fact that there will be a government that has so debased our public institutions that they think it's normal for the RCMP to be investigating their bad behavior. So what happened in the ArriveCAN scandal? Well, it's the ArriveCAN scandals. There are many different things that are at the heart of this problem. We had at least $60 million spent on an app that should have cost $80,000. Many of those who worked on this didn't actually do any work. We had GC Strategies, the company that got this contract, got $20 million for nothing. They simply received the contract and subcontracted it. What we have is not just a problem of the government contracting out work, but you have the government contracting out to people who contract out to people who contract, multiple layers and levels of subcontracting. Essentially, you have a two-person company that got this contract, did no work, has no IT expertise. They subcontracted. They went on LinkedIn, they found people who could do the work for them, and they got $20 million for searching around on LinkedIn. I think there are a lot of Canadians that would say, hey, I can get $20 million for just going on social media and looking for people who can do something. That's the way this government operates. You get $20 million for looking around on LinkedIn if you're a well-connected insider. So we have no work done and millions of dollars going to GC Strategies for this process of getting contracts and subcontracting. But not only that, we know now from the Auditor General's report that the process was rigged. The process was rigged. GC Strategies sat down with government officials to determine what the terms of the contract would be that they would then bid on. The Procurement Ombudsman revealed that the terms of the contract were designed to drive up costs. They built a system that would incentivize driving up costs and incentivize contractors to ask the government for more money instead of less. Normal people look for opportunities to spend less when they buy things. This government built a system in which it was in the interests of contractors to charge more instead of less. And they built a system that was structurally designed to protect insiders. It was built so that if you were not an insider, you couldn't get the contract. So we have money for nothing, a rigged process, protection for insiders, a process designed to drive up costs. As part of studying this issue at the Government Operations Committee, we found out about faked resumes. The GC Strategies, as part of trying to get work, they submitted faked resumes. And they said, oh, we sent the wrong version in. We changed numbers around in resumes, and then we sent that in, and it was just the wrong version. But they admitted under question that this company, this insider company, as part of their process, changes numbers on resumes in order to make them compliant with the requirements. So if the government's saying you need someone with 5 years experience and the person has 5 months of experience, GC Strategies processes, they'll change it to 5 years to make it compliant. And then they'll go back to the original subcontractor resource and say, is it okay that we change these numbers? Although in one case, they didn't even do that. They just sent in the false resume. Further, we have instances of tens of thousands of emails being deleted. And the Auditor General saying in so many cases there's a complete absence of records. The Auditor General can't confirm if records were destroyed or never existed, although we have now allegations of emails being deleted. We have senior public servants accusing each other of lying to the committee, accusing each other of faking health episodes in order to avoid accountability. And we have reprisals against senior public servants suspended without pay in the middle of an investigation after they give critical testimony. So money for no work, rigged process, protection for insiders, driving up costs, fake resumes, senior officials accusing each other of lying, reprisals among senior public servants. And the result of this was an app that went through 177 versions and sent over 10,000 people into quarantine as a result of a tech glitch because they couldn't bother to test it. What a disaster, Madam Speaker. What a complete and utter disaster this ArriveCAN fiasco has been. After 8 years, the government would tell you that RCMP investigating this whole family of scandals, well, that's just the way things work. And on this side of the House, we say no. We say Canadians deserve clean, efficient, effective government, and a government, by the way, in which elected leaders take responsibility. Now, Liberals would have you believe that they had nothing to do with this. Oh my goodness, can you believe the things that happen to us when we're ministers? All these public servants doing things that we know nothing about. Madam Speaker, our system is built on the principle of ministerial accountability. That ministers are responsible for what happens in their departments, and that ministers are responsible for the systems they create within their department. After 8 years, this Prime Minister and these ministers have presided over the complete debasement of efficiency and integrity within government. They've presided over a dramatic decline in the Government of Canada's ability to do anything efficiently or effectively. And we've seen this across many different areas. The ability of the Canadian state to deliver on basic services, to purchase an app, for example, has dramatically declined. But the government would have you believe that this dramatic decline over the last years has nothing to do with them. You know, we have an increase in crime. We have struggles in cost of living. We have an escalation in corruption. The costs, the crime, the corruption, and this government wants you to believe that the people in charge have nothing to do with the outcomes. Who are we going to blame for all these challenges our country are facing? Not the people in charge, surely. Madam Speaker, we need to go back to a time where we have a government that is willing to take responsibility for what happens under their watch. We have seen this escalation in cost, crime, and corruption, and it is the responsibility of this Prime Minister and his government for what they did and what they failed to do to ensure integrity, effectiveness, and fair processes within government. And this is why Conservatives have put forward a motion today that calls on the government to show the numbers, to account for the cost, and that calls for the money to be paid back. In cases where money was spent for no work, money should be paid back to the taxpayer. Canadians are struggling as a result of decisions made by this government. Canadians deserve to know the cost. They deserve to see the records, the deleted emails. They deserve to see the information. and they deserve to have their money back. Madam Speaker, common sense Conservatives will restore accountability and responsibility in government. When Conservatives are in office, we will no longer have ministers presiding over corruption, crime, chaos, and claiming that they had nothing to do with it. We will have a government that axes the tax, builds the homes, fixes the budget, stops the crime, ends the corruption, and treats taxpayer dollars with respect.
Questions and comments. We have 2 minutes for questions and comments. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
He almost forgot the lines, to mention the lines. It's interesting. He said, well-connected insider, referring to GC Strategies Incorporated. Well, Madam Speaker, those well-connected insiders are the very same insiders in which the leader of the Conservative Party gave literally millions of dollars to while he was the the parliamentary secretary of the Harper government. Would he not apply the very same principles that he just finished espousing to his own leader of the Conservative Party today? Did that leader make a mistake back then?
The Honourable Member for Sherwood Park, Saskatchewan.
Mr. Speaker, it's sad to see the desperation of the Parliamentary Secretary across the way. Here are the facts. GC Strategies was incorporated immediately after this Prime Minister took office. So this Prime Minister comes into office 8 years ago promising sunny ways. Remember that? Sunny ways. Well, it sure was sunny ways for GC Strategies, because GC Strategies was incorporated as soon as this Prime Minister took office, and they did $250 million worth of business with this government. $250 million. Even in the eyes of this government, they should see that that's actually real money we're talking about, right? $250 million went to this two-person company. All they do is receive contracts, go on LinkedIn to find someone else to do the job, and subcontract.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary on...
Madam Speaker, the rules are very specific. You cannot intentionally mislead the House. The member is intentionally misleading the House because it's the same company. It's the same two people.
We are not going to start a debate on that, and it gives me the opportunity to say that it being 5:27, it is my duty to interrupt the proceedings and put forthwith every question necessary to dispose of the business of supply.
The question is as follows. Mr. Poilievre, seconded by Mr. Nader, moves that, given that, 1,
ArriveCAN audit determined that the app cost taxpayers at least $60 million, but concluded, shall I dispense? I think so. The Auditor General's ArriveCAN audit determined that the app cost taxpayers at least $60 million, but concluded it's impossible to determine the actual cost of the application. 2, the Procurement Ombudsman found that that's what I have here, found that the 76% of ArriveCAN contracts, some or all of the contractors' proposed resources, such as subcontractors and employees, did not perform any work. 3, GC Strategies, an IT company that does no actual IT work, was paid nearly $20 million in relation to the ArriveCAN app. La Chambre.
the House. A, call on the Prime Minister to table in the House of Commons no later than Monday, March 18th, 2024, a report which details the complete, direct, and associated costs concerning the ArriveCAN app incurred to date, including the total amounts paid to contractors and subcontractors, broken down by contractor or subcontractor, and the value of staff time represented by the salary, bonuses, and other expenses paid to all public servants who worked on the app in relation to all expenses respecting
development of the app. 2, management and storage of the data collected by the app. 3, software development, testing, and maintenance. 4, training of government employees for using and troubleshooting the app. 5, call centers used for the app. 6, ArriveCAN related communications with travelers by email or text message. 7, market and opinion research. 8, advertising. 9, public relations. 10, merchandise, gifts, and promotional material. 11, processing of security clearances. 12, travelers' expenses after being wrongfully directed by a ArriveCAN app to quarantine. Et 13, au service
13, the services of legal counsel involved in contract negotiation, litigation arising from procurement or the use and implementation of the app, and the numerous investigations conducted related to the app. 14, any other costs related to the ArriveCAN app. And
to collect and recoup all funds paid to ArriveCAN contractors and subcontractors which did no work on the ArriveCAN app within 100 days of this motion being adopted, and for the Prime Minister to table a report in the House demonstrating that taxpayers' funds have been repaid. If a member participating in person wishes that the motion be carried or carried on division, or if a member of a recognized party participating in person, the Honourable Member for Charlotte St. James is to deploy Headingley.
Speaker, I would like to request a recorded division.
Pursuant to Standing Order 45, the division stands deferred till Wednesday, February 28, 2024, at the expiry of time provided for oral questions. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, the Canvas House should find unanimous consent at this time to call it 5:42 so that we can begin private members' hour.
Agree? Agreed. Orders of the day. No, sorry. It being